Just 1 week after their heated exchange in the United States, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris once again found themselves clashing on the track at the Mexico City Grand Prix. The tension was palpable from the start, as Verstappen took the lead from Carlos Sainz off the line, but the real drama began following a safety car restart, with Norris hot on Verstappen's heels. In 2 thrilling wheel-to-wheel battles in the first 10 laps, Norris and Verstappen each made it clear that neither was willing to back down, and what started as high-stakes racing soon escalated into a fierce on-track battle. Norris's first bold attempt came at turn 4, where he made an aggressive move around the outside, but Verstappen, unyielding as ever, held his line and forced Norris off onto the grass, a move that raised eyebrows and sparked chatter both on the track and among fans. Refusing to be intimidated, Norris tried again just 4 corners later at turn 8. This time, he got his nose ahead and seemed primed to pass, but Verstappen, defending with the same ferocity, squeezed Norris wide once again. Over the McLaren radio, a frustrated Norris didn't hold back. "This guy is dangerous," he said, clearly rattled by Verstappen's uncompromising approach. The stewards took a close look at both incidents and issued a rare double penalty, deeming Verstappen's defensive moves too aggressive. The Red Bull driver received 2 10-second penalties, an unusually severe punishment in the world of Formula One. But Verstappen's weekend woes didn't end there. With penalties looming over him, Verstappen now faces another potential setback at the Brazilian Grand Prix, one that could prove pivotal in his title race. A consequence that Red Bull, facing mounting pressure, may be unable to sidestep this time. Verstappen was forced to serve his penalties consecutively during his lap 26 pit stop. He rejoined in a distant 15th position, a far cry from his usual front-running stance. But in classic Verstappen fashion, he mounted an electrifying charge through the field, climbing up the ranks with unrelenting pace and precision. By the race's end, Verstappen had managed a respectable 6th-place finish. Meanwhile, Ferrari's drivers took full advantage of the chaos. Carlos Sainz, seizing the opportunity, stormed to victory, while Charles Leclerc finished 3rd after narrowly avoiding a collision with the wall in the final corner, a heart-stopping moment that showcased the razor-sharp reflexes of a Formula One driver. Between them, Sainz and Leclerc put Ferrari ahead of Red Bull in the constructors' standings, a significant shift as the season approaches its final stretch. And for Norris, his strong performance in 2nd place brought him closer to Verstappen in the driver standings, with the points gap now at 47 as they head into the last 4 races. Although Verstappen retains a comfortable lead, Norris's recent form has introduced a new layer of suspense to what had seemed like a foregone conclusion. Reflecting on the race, Norris admitted that Verstappen's aggressive moves hadn't caught him off guard. "I knew what to expect," he said, alluding to their recent battle in Austin, where he himself had been penalized for overtaking off track. Over the team radio in Mexico, Norris didn't mince words, calling Verstappen's driving dangerous in a moment of frustration. "I respect Max as a driver, but this wasn't clean racing. I stayed clear, but I was prepared for this kind of fight. It turned out to be a good race in the end," he added later. Zak Brown wasn't shy about sharing his thoughts on the incident and the penalties handed to Verstappen. When questioned by Sky Sports about whether the 2 10-second penalties were sufficient, Brown responded bluntly, "Probably not enough. This is getting ridiculous now. Hats off to the FIA stewards. Enough is enough. Let's keep things clean from here on out." Brown also took the opportunity to celebrate Norris's strong showing and praised Ferrari's Sainz for his well-deserved win. Both drove brilliantly in what turned out to be a thrilling race, he said, adding that McLaren's resilience on the track had him fired up about the team's progress. As for the stewards' handling of the Verstappen-Norris incident, Brown didn't feel the need to step in any further, leaving that to the FIA officials. The stewards were on top of it, and the penalties reflected that. "They did a solid job this weekend," he emphasized, satisfied with the FIA's intervention and eager to see a fair outcome on the circuit. On the other side, Red Bull's Christian Horner voiced his disapproval, describing the penalties as harsh and questioning the clarity of the FIA's rules. Max did leave the track at turn 4 and again at 7, but Lando opened the door very late both times, Horner argued. "We're treading into dangerous territory here. At what point is a dive bomb going to be acceptable? The FIA and drivers need to sit down and decide what is and isn't acceptable." Horner's frustration highlighted the broader tension between teams and the sport's governing body over how racing incidents are judged. The Mexican Grand Prix results have significant implications for both the constructors and drivers' championships. Ferrari's victory, led by Sainz with strong support from Leclerc, has pushed them ahead of Red Bull, marking a pivotal moment in the season. For Verstappen, the weekend setbacks mean every point will count as he works to fend off Norris, who's rapidly closing in. Brown acknowledged the heightened stakes mistakes. It's closer than I'd prefer, but that's what makes Formula One exciting. Watching Ferrari and McLaren battle it out is incredible, and Red Bull is still right in the mix. This season's end promises to be a wild ride. Now, after much debate throughout the Grand Prix and differing reactions from both drivers, the FIA have released 2 documents which explain the steward's decision to hand Verstappen a significant penalty. The first document, surrounding the first incident at Turn 4, reads, Norris was attempting to overtake on the outside of Verstappen at Turn 4. Norris was ahead of Verstappen at the entry, apex, and towards the exit of the turn when he started being forced off track. The stewards believe that the maneuver was done in a safe and controlled manner, and that Norris would have been able to make the maneuver on the track had he not been forced off the track by Verstappen. The penalty is the standard penalty in such cases. And on the Turn 8 incident, the stewards state, following the incident at Turn 4, Verstappen attempted to pass Norris on the inside at Turn 8. Verstappen was ahead at the apex of Turn 8 and would have been entitled to racing room. However, he was not able to complete the maneuver on the track, left the track and kept the lasting advantage, gaining the position, incidentally forcing Norris off the track. The second penalty is the standard penalty for leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage. Notably, the FIA removed the first document from their official website shortly after publication. The reason for this has not yet been made clear. With 4 races remaining in the 2024 season, Verstappen could face further setback in his championship campaign due to issues with his engine components, making the upcoming Brazilian Grand Prix a critical juncture for the Red Bull driver. Max Verstappen's 2024 Formula One campaign has not been without its challenges, particularly in terms of engine reliability. During practice in Mexico, a leak in the cooling system forced the Red Bull team to change his power unit, using up another of his limited engines for the season. Formula One regulations allow each driver a maximum of 4 internal combustion engines per season, but Verstappen is already on his 5th. His first penalty for breaching this limit came at Spa, and anticipating another in Brazil, he noted, "I think there will be another penalty, yes," admitting that his current pool of engines may not last the entire season. In addition to his combustion engines, Verstappen has also exhausted other power unit components, including the turbocharger, MGU-H, MGU-K, battery and control electronics. The only remaining parts that can be replaced without penalty are the exhaust and some external gearbox elements, leaving a razor-thin margin for further component failures. Do you think Verstappen's aggressive tactics against Norris were over the line, or is this just hard racing? And with the penalties piling up, can he hold off Norris in the championship race as his engine troubles mount? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.